Ricky's over on the other side of the planet on his honeymoon for the foreseeable future, so I brought Nick Gregorio here to fill in for him today. Now that I think about it, the last time you were here was when I was on my honeymoon.
Yeah.
You filled in for me. Phil
and I are the honeymooners.
How did that go?
We just come in. It went great. It was the Game of Thrones
really
episode.
well.
It went super well.
Went
Everyone
over
was a big
great.
fan.
People were like, Nick.
Bring him back.
Yeah. Well, he's back. You asked for it. You got it. Anyways, let's start things off with some clown news. It Chapter 2 came out last weekend and it had a pretty solid opening. It's the 7th highest grossing opening weekend of the year. The other 6 all being Disney and or Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Now, It 2 didn't open with quite the financial splash of the first one, nor are critics quite as into this second chapter, but people are still clearly very into spooky clowns, even if it means holding your piss for 2 hours and 50 minutes. My God.
Long picture. Saw it last night. Saw it in IMAX. I enjoy it. I like the IMAX presentation.
I accidentally saw it in IMAX.
I thought it looks nice. The MCU? Yeah, it looks good. It's a solid movie. It's worth the price of admission.
I enjoyed it. I liked It 1 more, but
yeah.
I liked It 1 a hell of a lot. It was hard thing to follow.
It 1 felt like a smaller movie in a good way. Like the scares were earned. They were building tension with every scene. It 2, the genie's already out of the lamp.
Yeah.
You can't, like, once you already have them defeat it as kids, it's hard to, like, backpedal.
Hard to not have it feel like a rehash.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Bill Hader, brilliant, genius.
Yes.
I mean, he's going to be the movie star of a generation, I believe, between Barry and this movie. I wouldn't be surprised if there's 4 movies next year with Bill Hader starring in them or ensembles where he's
I certainly
taking the
hope
lead.
so.
He's great, though. He's amazing. And he's like, I feel like he's one of us. And by one of us, I mean guys in Hollywood that really scrape to get where they're at. You know? Like, he started out as a PA. He tells those stories all the time. He's very talented. He kind of stuck to his look and his gimmick and his feel. Dude's in his 40s.
Yeah.
And now he's finally getting a level of success.
Like, oh, this guy can actually fucking act.
Yeah.
Very, very impressively.
One thing, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but death is real and felt in this movie. It's mourned, and I appreciated that because I feel so much like someone dies and everyone's like, oh, he died. Okay, next plot point.
Yeah.
But death is mourned in this picture, and I thought that was very exciting.
That was nice. Yeah.
Well, anyway, with all the Stephen King's It source material used up, minus the sewer gangbang scene, look it up, it's a real thing, you'd think that's a wrap on Pennywise, but it really sounds like director Andy Muschietti is not in fact done here. At the movie's premiere, he told Entertainment Tonight, we're in talks with the studio to make a supercut, which is basically the 2 movies edited together, much like how the book was, with all the material that is not in the release version, and there are a couple of scenes that I want to shoot to make this a new experience. He then goes on to say that this will include adding all the deleted scenes from both movies, as well as shooting 1 new scene from the book and 1 new scene not from the book. And will add up to around 6.5 hours total, he also said. People can choose how to see it. All in one, or, making little pauses, or binging. Maybe it's divided in episodes. People now, they binge a series for 10 hours of viewing, so it wouldn't surprise me.
It's a lot of it.
It's a lot of it, but they did that with Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched that, but I feel like I'm saving it for winter.
It's, again, a lot to get around to.
Yeah, it is a lot. I did just finish Too Old to Die Young, and that is 13 hours for 10 episodes. It's Nicholas Winding Refn. It is
I've been meaning
peak Nicholas Winding Refn.
You either like it or you don't.
You either like it or you don't.
I like it generally.
I like it, and I think if you like it, there's a lot for you there, but it takes some time. I had strep throat. I sat down, I watched it, fever dreams through the whole experience.
Nice.
Perfect. Yeah.
So anyway, it sounds like this idea of the It supercut is still in the very early stages. He even joked at one point that the studio doesn't even know about his plans. Or at least I think he was joking. So this may or may not actually even happening, but it wouldn't be that surprising.
Some exec was like, what?
And then he saw the box office receipts and he's like, yes,
let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, like Nick said, Tarantino's Hateful Eight ran 2 hours and 48 minutes in theaters, and there was also a limited theatrical run with an extra 20 minutes of footage.
Which I saw, the roadshow, yeah.
It was great. But then, earlier this year, he turned it into a 4-part episodic thing for Netflix that adds up to being 42 minutes longer than the original theatrical cut. And Tarantino is also rumored to be planning a similar thing for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which in theaters clocked in at 2 hours and 40 minutes and has Also a ton of footage that didn't end up getting used. So.
I would want to see that. I felt that Hateful Eight, much of the movie, like, you didn't change location. Anything that was added was like beefing up scenes or beefing up the experience. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has scenes that were not in the movie.
Yeah, they apparently shot a ton of stuff with like the Charles Manson character.
The Bruce Lee fight scene is supposedly much longer.
Yeah.
It's more of a back and forth where it's like a solid draw and not just like one hit, another hit return, whatever.
This is an interesting movie because it's not a lot happens, but it definitely takes you into a world, and I'd be down to see more of that world.
Yeah, I would. That is the Hollywood I moved out here for.
Yeah.
Is the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
The one that Charles Manson ruined.
Yes, the one that Charles Manson ruined. But no, living in the Hollywood Hills, sporting around, being a movie star, being a director, like going to fun parties, kind of experiencing
owning a flamethrower.
Owning a flamethrower, being a cowboy.
Yeah.
In a Western, not in real life.
Yeah, in terms of these long hybrid projects, I mean, we live in a time where releasing things in multiple formats is easy to do, and it makes some sense if the movie's super long already. So it's not hard to imagine it getting a similar treatment.
It makes sense to me. HBO Max is coming out. Easy fit. Easy fit right there. Recycle that content. And that's in addition to both Muschietti and Bill Skarsgård expressing interest in doing some kind of prequel at some point. Muschietti told IO9, there is a whole mythology to the book, though. Mythology is something that always has opportunities to explore. It, aka Pennywise the Clown, has been on Earth for millions of years. He's been in contact with humans for hundreds of years, every 27 years. So you can imagine the amount of material. It's always exciting to think of eventually exploring this mythology. It's very exciting. But for now, there's nothing on the table. Okay, we live in an age of franchises, so there's a decent chance we haven't seen the last of Pennywise, though up for debate whether that's actually a good idea or whether it would be better to just leave it alone. Where do you stand on that?
I pretty much always stand on leave it alone. I'm open to it.
But I love that crazy turn of the century, like Depression era clown carnival vibe, and I wouldn't mind. I feel like a miniseries, if they did every 27 years, but really interesting milestones, a 4-part miniseries, I'd be down for that.
I can definitely see it being done well and being good. Yeah. But I can also see it being a thing that Warner execs are just rubber stamping and being like, yeah, the kids love the clown, get it out there.
But I don't think you can do that anymore, and I think we're reaching a tipping point where Skarsgård will be in the series.
He seems very happy.
The production value will be in the series. I don't think we're going to get something where it's like, oh, a new guy plays it, and it's watered down, and it's done in like a network TV style. I think if it's an HBO Max exclusive, I think that's a great way to get people to HBO Max.
It would definitely pique my interest.
Yeah.
But speaking of clowns, this is truly the autumn of clowns, with the Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie coming out just 3 weeks from now. Last week we all heard about how Joker's premiere at the Venice Film Festival got an 8-minute standing ovation from the sort of crowd that you wouldn't really expect to be that psyched about a comic book movie directed by the guy who made The Hangover. As surprising as that was, though, the real surprise came this week when the Venice Film Festival awarded Joker its highest prize, the Golden Lion, essentially endorsing it as the best movie screened at this festival. And for context, the previous 2 Golden Lion winners were Roma and The Shape of Water, both of which also did quite well at the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
And Nick, I know you're literally on the DC payroll.
Trust nothing I say.
You're on the take. But I'll just say it is absolutely insane to me that a movie that's technically part of the same franchise as Suicide Squad and Justice League has been officially recognized as high art by a European film festival. Mind-blowing.
Okay. Meanwhile, in case I'm not even touching it. I'm not even touching it. We'll talk about it. I do want to talk about the Joker. But meanwhile, in case you think Venice is a fluke, maybe you're right. Joker screened at the Toronto International Film Festival this week and again received a lot of love, but not nearly as much as in Venice. And reviews out of Toronto have been a lot more mixed. Though that's not necessarily a bad thing. This is clearly a movie that triggers strong feelings and lots of analysis. And even if it's not the greatest movie ever, guys, come on. That's still more than you can say for a lot of superhero movies. Even if it's not everyone's cup of tea, it's very interesting to see a comic book movie talked about this way.
Yeah. You're not into the fact that they're trying to separate it too much from, like,
I'm fine with Warner using the concept of Elseworlds.
Yeah.
I think that works in the comic. You have your main continuity.
Those are some of my favorite stories.
And they're arguably the best stories because they're not mired in continuity.
Yeah,
there's always going to be a continuity buff, and there's always going to be someone that wants a great adventure with these characters.
Yeah.
I don't like that Todd Phillips said this has nothing to do with the comic at all, and that you won't see a Batman in this universe, even if there was a sequel. Well, again, odd choices for me.
Yeah.
A Joker without a Batman, very odd.
I see where you're coming from.
As a director and as a producer, I don't exactly know why we need this type of movie. It feels like a fan film, but not a superhero fan film. It feels like a director's genre fan film. There's The King of Comedy,
That's pretty
Martin
much what
Scorsese. Amazing movie. It takes a lot from that. There's Taxi Driver, also Martin Scorsese. It takes a lot from that. I'm sure it is expertly made. I'm sure the performances are great. The aesthetic is there. The cinematography is gorgeous. My concern is, what is this? Why do we need this? What is this for? What does this do? And, you know, if Venice is going to stand and give it an 8-minute ovation, then it has my attention.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably see it multiple times, but I do have a concern. I want to say one thing, though. I know it's going to wake up a lot of inflammatory conversations online.
Oh, it already has. And they're all pretty dumb.
I just want to say, don't engage the people that like bear this movie like a flag or see themselves in this character. Because guess what? When Taxi Driver came out in the 70s, people would write Paul Schrader, and someone even showed up to him and said, "Did you write this movie about me?" These are not people that we should engage with as a society. Like, these are people that are only looking for a fight. They're only looking for trouble. They're lost people.
I agree,
so I would say just don't engage.
I also think there's a little too much like preemptive like pushback on that side, like, this movie's gonna inspire a mass shooting. Like, okay, why don't you just fucking slow down a second?
And I mean, like, there's two sides to each coin, and yes, like, guys, relax. Like, don't make it a thing, it won't become a thing. And like, also, if someone's defending this movie like it represents who they are as a person, maybe just mute them.
Yeah, probably. Anyways, another Joker tidbits from the past week. Director Todd Phillips revealed that, like Nick said, no, sorry, this is definitely a standalone movie. This Joker will absolutely not be sharing any screen time with Robert Pattinson's Batman. I mean, apparently Bruce Wayne is a little boy in the movie, so Batman is in the movie. But
I have a tweet prediction. I tweeted this out about 4 months ago. If this movie is successful, I wouldn't be surprised if he is the Joker in the Pattinson universe. I wouldn't be surprised. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, all right, well, we'll see. Phillips also revealed that during filming, Phoenix was so into the role that he'd sometimes just wander off set mid-scene if he wasn't totally feeling it, which made other actors a bit uncomfortable, as you might imagine. But given how things apparently turned out here as supposedly good, and given how Phillips wrote the role specifically for Phoenix and then spent months trying to convince him to do it, a little bit of method acting on set conflict stuff seems like it was probably worth it. Yeah, and that's
Don't paint your tongue ever, kids. I'm sorry, that's not acting if you put grease paint on your tongue. Some things I have to throw a flag on because it's just too much for your boy to handle.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're sort of mentally disturbed. Like, it's not completely, he doesn't have a specific mental condition, at least in the trailers. Why are you putting the grease paint on your tongue? That's an acting choice that I don't know.
Maybe it tastes good.
I don't co-sign acting choices like that.
Well, anyway, all that is a good article, a good in-depth article on Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix in the New York Times. I'll link it down below if you want to read it.
Moving on now to some slightly different news. Remember how a bunch of rich and famous people, including a former machinima executive, spent a ton of money cheating their kids into really good universities and then got caught? Of course you do. Operation Varsity Blues, aka the college admissions scandal, is one of the most fascinating crime stories of the year. It's just so satisfying to see powerful people get in trouble with the law for doing shady, selfish things. Well, the latest news is that this week, months after pleading guilty and taking a plea deal, actress Felicity Huffman is getting sentenced on Friday. Dun, dun, dun. Which is either today or tomorrow, depending on when this video goes up. And it's looking like if prosecutors get what they want, she'll be going to prison for 1 month.
Oh.
Okay. Unless her defense attorney manages to convince the judge, just put her on probation and community service.
Wow.
Hooray for justice. She's not going to jail ever. I
feel like
she's going to wave to the jail and they're going to
You or me would probably get a worse deal than that.
It'd be the end of our lives, I would say. Yeah.
Weird how that works. Now, to be fair, though, compared to a lot of the people caught up in this scandal, Huffman's crimes are relatively small. $15,000 paid to make her daughter's SAT scores look higher than they actually were, which is still morally reprehensible. But
How much higher? What does $15,000 get you?
I don't know.
Does that bump like a 1,200 to a 1,275, or are we talking about 1,200 to a 1,500?
I don't even know didn't they make it like 2,100 for a while, and then they changed it?
And then they clicked it back, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll tell you in 10 years when my kids go to high school.
Yeah, all right, cool. You'll let us know though. But it's still bad. But keep in mind that our former boss, Steven Sempervivo, spent $400,000 conning his kid into Georgetown. And there were also a lot more moving parts to his crimes, including using Photoshop to present his non-tennis playing son as a tennis star. These legal documents are public, by the way, and they are fascinating.
That's, I didn't know the details of that. Wow.
I read the whole document the day it got released. It was like 60 pages. I was just like, inject this into my fucking veins.
I will say, though, rich people spending money to get their kids in prestigious schools is not something new.
Well, usually they just buy a building.
They buy a building or a library or
totally
donate
legal.
a wing. And I've known people that have done that.
Oh, yeah.
But it almost feels like, right, I don't know, not being conspiratorial, but it's a shot at the nouveau riche. Hollywood is the nouveau riche, and this is a, hey, stay in your lane, player.
You might be right about that.
A little bit.
They're all terrible. Let them fight.
They're all terrible. I don't shed tears for these people,
there might be something to that.
They are a little bit of a nouveau riche. Okay.
The legacies, they're like, who are these Hollywood assholes?
Especially Georgetown.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how deep that shit went till I went down to Maryland.
Like 250 years.
Yeah. That's some skull and bones shit.
Yeah. Well, Sempervivo, our old boss, by the way, he's also getting sentenced tomorrow or today, the same day as Felicity Huffman, Friday the 13th of September. And with prosecutors recommending 15 months in prison for him, we hope that the luck is not on his side there in the courtroom.
I don't know, man. I don't want anyone to go to prison for 15 months.
I mean,
not for
generally, yes.
But
gotta send a message.
Of all the people that were rounded up, it's probably going to be him. But he's going to go to Club Fed, right?
Right.
He's not going to fucking.
He's going to get a nice.
He's not going to like stamp license plates.
He's going to come out fucking jacked.
Yeah.
And
buzz cut, tat on his neck, just like, hey man, it's part of that college admissions scandal.
Yeah.
Oh shit, you're crazy.
I'd do it again.
I'd get all my kids in Georgetown if I could. Meanwhile, though, the other big names in the admissions scandal, Lori Loughlin, a.k.a. Aunt Becky, you know she fine, and her husband, the Massimo guy, pleaded not guilty back in April and still face a lengthy trial process that could result in a sentence of up to 40 years in prison. Good luck to them. If that's too long to wait for more juicy insight into this mess, though, thankfully the good folks over at the Lifetime channel have a TV movie already, inspired by true events, about the whole scandal coming out a month from now. And the trailer for it is just the best.
I love this.
Like everything Lifetime does, it's pure trash. But it looks like it might be some really enjoyable pure trash.
Yeah, I didn't make the connection until...
It's like when you smell a dumpster and you're like, that smells weird. Yeah. I don't hate it.
I made the connection today, finally, that what Lifetime does is the exact same thing that Sci-Fi Channel does. Yeah. Except for like women instead of dudes.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of trash.
Same deep cut, nerd.
Like, no one is watching this for
Are you
quality.
A nerd for romance? Lifetime.
Yeah.
Are you a nerd for bad sci-fi?
Romance and also like domestic abuse.
Oh.
And
Christmas
women
movies.
Breaking the law. Yeah,
Christmas.
Of course, yes. Christmas romance, Christmas crimes,
romance, yeah.
Christmas abuse, all those things. Anyways, in other news, the goddamn Muppets just cannot catch a break. Makes me very sad. Jim Henson's classic puppet franchise had a very successful cinematic soft reboot back in 2011, but then the 2014 sequel, Muppets Most Wanted, pretty much tanked at the box office.
I didn't even know that movie existed.
No one does, apparently. Disney then... They ended those movie plans. They pivoted the Muppets franchise to television with a primetime mockumentary sitcom series on ABC in 2015, but it got canceled after just one season. And most recently, a new Muppet show got canceled before anyone even knew about it. The Disney Plus series, ironically titled Muppets Live Another Day, I guess not, was never even officially announced, but it was confirmed this week that Disney has scrapped it after 7 months in development.
I can't, you know how much money to be in 7 months in development, how much money was spent? Like, just make the show. At that rate, just make the show. Turn it into a miniseries.
Josh Gad, I think it sounds like he got paid. And,
of course, they all are.
Yeah.
No one signs up and works for free. Not for 7 months.
Yeah.
No.
He does seem sad, though. It seems like he was really excited about this. But yeah, this was supposed to take place in the 1980s following the events of the movie Muppets Take Manhattan, which again, that sounds great.
That sounds amazing. Best Muppet movie, though? Muppet Christmas Carol.
Well, yes, that's the one I grew up with, and it's very sentimental to me, and Michael Caine is the perfect Ebenezer Scrooge.
It may be one of the best live-action adaptations of Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
I mean, George C. Scott, he did a great job, too, but Muppets Christmas Carol is, like, tonally, it's funny, it's family-friendly, but it's also terrifying.
It's terrifying. And Michael Caine's performance is perfect. Like, Jim Henson's son directed it.
Yeah.
And it was right after Jim Henson had passed away, or like the first time, right? Something like that. First movie without Jim Henson involved. And he told Michael Caine, listen, you cannot act like you're acting with Muppets. Like, that you'll ruin this whole movie.
Yeah.
Like, these are people, and he does it. I mean, he commits. He's on a set that probably has a bunch of dudes with hands up the asses of Muppets. He nails it.
Real professional.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the bright side, though, for the Muppets fans out there, Disney Plus still has another Muppet talk show called Muppets Now that's officially in development, unless they scrap that one too. These Muppets just really need a win.
This might be an unpopular opinion. Do you think people like the idea of the Muppets more than they enjoy Muppets movies?
I think that's entirely possible. It's the same way, like...
Because I love the Palisades toy line was really cool. I know there's like a new Mattel toy line, correct me if I'm wrong. I love any of the merchandise. I love the design of the Muppets. I love that world. I love the Henson world. My kids watch Sesame Street, but when I put Muppets movies on, I usually run out of steam because I'm like, I'm watching puppets.
Yeah.
Like that, and it's not always necessarily in a comedic fashion.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it might be a case of people being really nostalgic about something, but not actually being engaged.
Actually watching the show.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I watched like one episode of the like 2015 TV show, and I was like, it's kind of like The Office, but with Muppets.
Yeah.
So.
And a little bit watered down.
Yeah. But I think if they actually made a good Muppets property that did that thing where it's enjoyable for adults and for kids. That's the original Muppet Show was so good because it was a show for adults that kids could also enjoy and vice versa. They were able to do that again.
But people were also, there was a level of magic to the Muppets because people were like, whoa, you didn't have a ton of great animation.
Yeah.
They were so well done. They were so like emotive. And I think now we have fully CGI characters that are stars of serious movies.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different. The world's a little bit different. That trick doesn't work as much. All right. And finally, here's some news. Fans of the 1997 classic John Woo movie Face Off can either rejoice or despair because it's getting rebooted for some reason. I don't know. The original Face Off, which starred Nicolas Cage and John Travolta as a criminal and a cop who get their faces surgically swapped, is a true 90s gem. There's actually no scarring either.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful face replacement surgery.
And somehow the bone structure doesn't
It all
matter.
fits, yeah.
It's wild.
It's a true 90s gem that really showcased both actors' very unique acting chops. That's kind.
They both do their thing.
Yeah.
You can certainly not take that away from them.
Oh, let's go. So it's hard to know, was that Travolta? Was that Cage? Hard to know how they'll be able to top that. Not having Cage and Travolta will likely be a deal breaker for true longtime Face-Off fans, all 10 of you that still own your Blockbuster purchased
there are dozens
cassette
of us.
tapes. So why not just do a sequel instead of a reboot? I think that's a great idea. After all, both these acting titans are still out there bringing it. They're bringing it, man.
Yeah,
Travolta's in that Fred Durst movie. And Fanatic.
Nicolas Cage is in that H.P. Lovecraft movie where apparently he's really like at his peak of screaming at things. They're both still perfectly capable of facing off.
Is it possible to imagine any two younger actors bringing that level of insane raw energy to these roles?
I don't know.
Who's it going to be? Channing Tatum, like, the name of Jeff. Like, who's it going to be?
I don't know.
What do you think? Let us know. Like, who do they cast in this thing?
The younger generation of actors is not eccentric and crazy enough for this kind of thing.
because they're not
Shia
treated...
LaBeouf, what might be a good one.
Could be. Shia LaBeouf. Tom Hardy and Shia LaBeouf. Maybe. They're both insane. This is the thing. In the 90s, actors were treated like god kings who were given all the money and told how like brilliant and handsome and tough they were. Now actors are like begging for jobs. Like actors are in major franchises begging they get included on the next big franchise. Right. The world's a different place. So you need the type of ego that comes along with like a Batman and Robin level budget, where they're like, hey, I'm gonna shoot a half a scene today and then I'm out because I gotta go.
How's this? Joaquin Phoenix and Shia LaBeouf in Face Off. Somehow they not only change faces, but they change ages.
So it's like Freaky Friday meets Face Off?
Well, I don't know. It's just Face Off with an older dude and a younger dude.
Okay.
I don't know. I can see that working. You need actors on that level of like weird.
I feel like all the young modern actors now are just so hot. Yeah. They all have like abs.
Too hot.
They're too hot. Like Nick Cage and John Travolta. Like Travolta made Pulp Fiction and then let himself go. Yeah. And then Cage has just been slowly letting himself go since, not Chasing Amy, but
Raising Arizona.
Raising Arizona.
He had a great run there.
Nick Cage has just slowly let himself go since Raising Arizona.
Since his third movie.
But yeah, like he was a brilliant actor that became like a caricature of the brilliant actor that he was. We don't have that anymore.
Nope. Sad.
We have people trying to stay relevant.
Well, anyway, thanks for joining us, Nick. The red light is beeping, so we need to close out
here.
All right. If you haven't watched our 2 most recent episodes, please take a look. And if you're a Patreon supporter, there is, of course, a weekly episode up there that we recorded earlier this week that you should check out. Nick, where can they watch you?
Oh, you can't watch me anymore. If you don't have DC Universe, the service, DC's platform, I direct a show, DC Daily, 5 days a week. I'm behind the scenes.
The Wizard of Oz.
You can still mess with me on @NickGregorio on Twitter. Thanks for having me, Elliot. Had a lot of fun. And why so serious?
All right, that's enough.
Why so serious?
Bye-bye.